This interview is with Dr. Kim Williams, our curriculum coordinator for the Pell City School System, and we will begin our interview. I would like to tell Dr. Williams thank you for this opportunity to interview her and ask her a few questions. All right, Dr. Williams, how how do you assess and revise a systematically integrated curriculum, both horizontally and vertically, that engages all students in rigorous, relevant academic challenges across the academic disciplines?
Well, we use quantitative data from our various progress monitoring and standardized assessments, and those can be in-house and also those that are required by the state. In addition, we have input from our teachers and principals and instructional specialists um, regarding how the impact of the curriculum in the classroom and on students. So we look at it from two avenues: the data side as far as qualitative data, and then a more, I guess it would be qualitative, quantitative, but also a more qualitative approach from feedback from local school personnel.
Thank you. How do you lead and motivate us as faculty members to adhere to the prescribed state standards and to make sure that we are following those standards?
Well, I don't really think that it's a challenge to motivate teachers to follow the state standards, because that's just what we do. You know, we come on board understanding this is just a part of the job. It's what we do. I think a greater challenge comes with the resources we use to live out those standards. Um, and what we try to do is get buy-in from teachers on the front side of that when we go to adopt something new, give teachers opportunities to give input and have a say in what it is that we're using. Um, because we certainly don't want teachers to be handed a resource and just say, here, we expect you to use this, without your having an opportunity to sort of vet it out. So,
Thank you. And I can attest to that because the foundations and frameworks, the
yeah.
extensive training that we had to do the first year, and that training continues on from year to year as we get refreshers. So, certainly agree with that. How do we monitor and assess instructional programs and activities and materials? And how do we assess to make sure that they are providing the instructional needs for all students as well as showing improvement?
Yeah, well, obviously, again, we'll look at data and see what that tells us. We have classroom observations, both the at the local school level with the instructional specialist and the principals, and then at the district level with our classroom visits. And then again, it goes back to teacher input, and there's a lot of information to be gleaned from the times that you all get together for your collaborative planning, whether that's just your local school by grade level planning, or on a broader scale when we have in-service days and we have teacher leader sessions where reps from various schools come together, or we even have entire grade level meetings. We're able to get feedback from the teachers regarding how implementation is going, what's working, what's not. I think most recently with the dyslexia resource implementation, we've had opportunities to get quite a bit of feedback from our teachers, because that's so new, um, about what is working and what is not, and where we see the gaps. So,
Okay. How long have you been in your position as curriculum coordinator?
since the summer of 2009.
I didn't know it was that long.
Yes.
What would you say are the most challenging or the greatest difficulties in your position, in doing your position?
um, Well, the common answer is always finances.
And
You know,
that's what I
there's-
thought.
That's just, I think that sort of goes without saying. Um, Most recently, the challenge has been just with the changes at the State Department, um, as far as assessments and, the report card and ESSA and all of those different kinds of changes that have occurred. Um, it's been somewhat challenging to get a grasp on the sense of direction we need to have locally in order to be prepared for that. Of course, the change in assessments that's a relatively big deal in the world of education. So just trying to find a way to navigate that and help everyone stay the course, just providing quality instruction that is standards based. And I feel like if we do that, regardless of the assessment that comes our way, we should be prepared for it. Is the hope.
Are there any factors that interfere with achieving those goals and objectives that you hadn't already previously stated?
I don't think so, because we're fortunate in our system that we have a low turnover rate in regard to personnel and leadership. So that helps maintain a level of stability locally, and I think that's been helpful. While there's been quite a bit of transition at the state level, we've been able to be pretty stable here, and I think that has limited the disruption.
How would you characterize our curriculum as implemented, with the choices being knowledge centered, learner centered, or society centered?
Can you provide a little more clarification about
Well,
those?
when I thought about this question, I actually thought about our DOKs as far as it relates to foundations and frameworks. Would you say that when I think about foundations and framework, I think it's student centered, I think it's knowledge centered, because we're using those depths of knowledge questions to promote critical thinking, and that's how I related it to reading. I didn't know so much of how you thought about it as in reference to math, with us using Go Math. I think it does enhance their critical thinking at times at the end of each section after the lesson, because it wants them to go dig deeper to answer those word problems. And so would you say that's across the board?
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal across the board, is to, you always have the foundational level of information where it's helping students build the background knowledge, the schema, if you will. And then to add to that, what can students do with what they know? To me, that's the ultimate goal. It's fine for students to have head knowledge, but what can they do with it? And to me, once students or learners of any age, if you can do something productive with what you know, then that shows that you have ownership of what you've learned and you've mastered it. And that then transfers beyond their time with us at the K-12 level, whether they choose to go to post-secondary or into a career. If we've equipped students with a knowledge base, and then they can apply that knowledge, then to me they're ready to make an impact on society. So
I think that's great.
that's I hope that we address all three levels.
I think so, because
there.
when you said society, when I saw society centered, you said that was preparing them if they go to college or whether they go out into the workforce, and that's part of being a productive person in society.
Well, and we've had quite an emphasis on career readiness in our system the past few years. We have strong partnerships with Jeff State through their applied engineering program, and then local business and industry, where students are going out and working as electricians and welders and iron workers and those kinds of things. So students are getting an opportunity to make an impact in society at large even before they graduate. So having those kinds of programs helps as well.
Yes, ma'am. Well, this concludes our interview. Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you.
I appreciate it.